Thank you for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. We're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life. Want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around. In this episode, we get to speak with Colin Dingelstad. Let's find out how he grew his coaching business from 0 to 6 figures with no paid advertising, email list, or funnels, while only using his personal Facebook profile. He's on a mission to give 300 high-ticket coaches the systems to go from being stagnant to consistently hitting 10 to 20 clients a month. There are few hundreds of coaches who followed his advice and became rock stars in their chosen industry as they continuously use these marketing strategies. Let's check out this episode with Colin Dingelstad. Colin, thanks for coming on, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself, or remind me how we've met.
We actually met through Abigail Sinclair.
Oh, yes. Abigail Sinclair. She's been connecting with a lot of people together. She's so awesome. So, Colin, tell us about yourself. How are you dealing with this new situation that we have? And, tell me a little bit about yourself. What's going on?
It's been pretty interesting, the whole situation, how it all happened.
Yeah.
I actually created a list in December about what I was going to do for the year of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a massive list, mainly physical health goals, business goals, everything in there.
Yeah.
So I basically help my clients make more money, organically, mainly high-ticket coaches, consultants, trainers, service providers. That's what I do. But I made the giant list with 2.5 months of climbing. I wanted to start off with that in Budapest because my girlfriend lives there. I wanted to train professionally MMA, or at least learn it from like the best people in the world. I wanted to run ultra marathon, or at least train for it, see how far I could come. I wanted to do full splits, side split. Wanted to train with memory champions. I wanted to hold my breath for 5 minutes. I had like a giant list of really cool things that I wanted to do. So it went really, really well. Like the first 2 months I was in Budapest with my girlfriend. I trained climbing. I hit my level, which was 7A, which is a fairly advanced level for people who regularly go. And then I came here. I flew to Miami on the last flight, on the last day, to train mixed martial arts at American Top Team, which is one of the best, if not the best gym in the world, with like world champions walking around and world champion trainers. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And I rode my little bike to the gym because it's like 5 minutes away from my home. And I arrived and it's like, gym closed.
Gym is closed. Like, what? Why is the gym closed? Yeah. I came to work out.
and then I called them and I was like, what's happening? Like, I got the flight. In the US, Florida doesn't have many cases. You guys maybe had like 1 death, I think, not even anything serious. Yeah. So I called them up. They were like, yeah, we closed yesterday. I was like, I'm 1 day too late. And every gym around everywhere is still closed. So
yeah,
I've been stuck a little bit for the last 4 weeks in Florida, but the weather is beautiful. People are really nice. But yeah, I'm happy if my flight goes back in a week. To the Netherlands.
If your flight, yeah, if they haven't canceled those flights because people are still traveling, I think.
I had to reschedule my flight 3 times with KLM.
Luckily, oh my God.
Good company, so I can actually call them and I can get a hold of them within a few minutes.
Yeah.
Has been a blessing. I literally called with them like 3 times to reschedule my flight because the times keep switching. But
yeah,
last time I called them, which was 2 days ago, they told me, no, your flight is still going. Everything is going.
Yeah.
Just have a few of those emergency flights and you can be on one of those and it should be good. So fingers crossed. Now, the next challenge is going back to Budapest because they are still in lockdown. So that will go. But we'll see. It's an interesting time, whether it's man-made or if it's billionaires coming together, whatever conspiracy theory you believe in.
There's a lot, right? There's a lot of conspiracy theories, and I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. Well, Colin, tell us a little about yourself. Where do you come from? You know, tell us about you. We just got to hear about what you've been doing for the past year. You had plans for this year, as 2020 is like 20 years into the year 2000. What's everybody going to do this year? It almost feels like it's like a reset year, like a Y2K. Everybody was like, oh no, the world's going to end, right? And then the year 2020, it's like, all right, well, let's pause everything, guys. Let's slow down a little bit. Let's reimagine what life you think it's all about, right? So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, what are your aspirations, and how you started your journey into and where you're heading to.
Yeah, totally. I finished my education. I come from the Netherlands. I finished my education. I worked for 6 months in an auto company in Italy, where I basically had my own team running for me because I did an education in the auto field, where you kind of became a manager in an auto company.
Hmm.
Usually you work your way up, but I got pretty lucky that I got a pretty good position right away.
Yeah.
Company wasn't that good. That's also why I probably got the. So it turned out that I was just working like 12 hours days, at
oh
minimum
my
12 hours days, 7 days a week,
oh my
no
god.
breaks the entire summer. And I learned so much. I learned so much about being a leader, having a team around me, underneath me, around me, people I worked with. We had constantly like anywhere from 50 people to 150 people coming into our camps, maybe even a bit more. And I learned so much about leadership and about how to do activities, how to schedule everything, how to inspire people, how to create a good community. And that was all amazing. Besides that, I knew that I already got experience, that I felt like I had the experience that I would have gotten anyway that I would have gotten in the next 3 years. I just got it
Hmm.
once. So it's like, okay, I'm done with this. I don't want to do it the rest of my life. I was like, what's next? So I luckily met a few fairly high level people, like one multimillionaire that actually came to my camp, and he was like, "Dude, with your work ethic and like you seem like intelligent, and you seem like you're even reading books, even though you're working all the time.
Hmm.
Why don't you just start something on your own? Like even if it takes you 5 years, like the results will be worth it." So
Yeah.
that's how I started off, and I basically failed the first year completely. Like I did everything wrong. I started off with a drop shipping company where I sold horse clothing, t-shirts with like people who ride horses. I just sold like casual clothing for them with like horses on a t-shirt and like little logos on there.
uh,
And I couldn't sell anything for the first 2 months. Like I did the whole setup. I learned so much because that millionaire guy is like, I see a lot of potential in this industry. Maybe you want to try something, or maybe selling t-shirts or something. I was like, okay,
hmm.
let's try that. So at 3 months of going all in, 2 to 3 months of going all in, and then I sold my first sweater, I think at $40. And
Nice.
it was one of the happiest days of my life. And then the second thought was, I want to quit. I'm done. I made my one sale.
Yeah.
I'm completely done with this because I love horses and I love these people, but I was in Nepal at the time because I was also traveling a little bit through Asia because it's
Mm-hmm.
also something that I wanted to do. So instead of traveling, I was just working in Asia. That was kind of my time. Like I just was in a hotel working all the time. Did a
Oh
few
my
things
god.
here and there, but I didn't really get like the whole. The first week that I was there, I was like, this is not really my thing with all these sweaty, weed smoking people who travel around. It's not really the experience I thought. Most people are just escaping life instead of just actually thriving there. They just like having this fake sense of security and like don't want to have anything. And I wasn't really into that because I had to retrain my mind to be into the business mindset, and that didn't mix that well. So I just worked almost all the time. I did some cool things like bungee jumping, some outdoor kayaking for like multiple day trips, but
Hmm.
mainly I was working. And then I tried a bunch more things like selling courses, made some money with that, sold affiliate marketing, tried to have an information company, bunch of different things until I eventually decided to just do one post on Facebook with who wants a free session on stress.
Free
And that worked.
session on stress.
Stress.
Hmm.
So, and that worked. I got 10 people reaching out to me. I closed my first client on my second call I had with people at like $100 per hour
Mm-hmm.
for like 4 sessions, which was insane to me. Granted, I did also a bunch of courses before that time, so I knew I had the foundation set up. I knew how to close people. So like
Yeah.
I have a conversation with them. I knew how to set up certain things. I
Mm-hmm.
was reading already those books since I was like 14 years old, and like personal development, psychology, business. So I had that background. So I felt pretty confident, unless the only issue was that the person I was coaching, it turned out that like everybody had given up on her. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody wanted her to help anymore. Even a
Yeah.
therapist had given up on her. No family, no friends. She was at a pretty bad spot.
Pretty low
That's
spot.
why
Yeah.
that's why I came in, and she didn't tell me that any of those things beforehand. So
Yeah.
I was like, well, I should probably not do this because maybe legal things I could get messed up.
No, absolutely. No. You mentioned some really good points there. You tried a lot of different things. You didn't like some of the things, but you liked the other things, and you kept doing it. And some of the things, like selling, is hard, man. Selling is so hard. But once you figure out what the people are looking for, and I'm still learning this. I don't know what people are looking for. What can I offer them? I'm still working on that. So, but once you've sold your first thing, there's a door inside your brain that opens up and shows you things that you could not have imagined before, right? And I think that's what happened in your brain. But you didn't like the level of effort you were putting in there. Like, wait, this can be easier. And you wouldn't have come to that conclusion until you actually worked hard at it, right? So you figured the process out, and then you, like, all right, I can refine it, I can make this better, I can get to that point a lot faster.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy. Once you make your first sale,
Yeah.
you're pretty much hooked, especially if you put some time into that. Now I wasn't going to quit until I made my first sale. But
Hmm.
when I made my first sale, I was like, okay, I can scale, I can do something
Yeah.
else. And I did
Yes,
something.
exactly.
So yeah, and it went pretty well from there. So the first client, I was like, well, you know what, I might as well just try it because
Hmm.
everybody has given up on her. I can't be another person who gives up on her.
Yeah.
But that turned out to be a really amazing success story where she ended up traveling the world and making a giant impact on other people because she already had all the money. Like her family was pretty rich.
Yeah.
She was already in her 40s.
Wow.
And so she's just traveling the world right now, helping other people, which turned out to be a really good success story. I stayed in that niche for a while. I
Mm.
then upped the game with going to CEOs and executives in the technology industry, which was super exciting. I could
Yeah.
also up my income again. Then I
Hmm.
went to coaches and consultants, and then I ended up just adding in business advice
That's
because I've
amazing.
done so many courses over the last 3 to 4 years, and I was
Hmm.
like, I can probably help these people make an even bigger impact just by doing
Yeah.
business courses.
Yeah, because you're learning, you learned through that process, right? You started into this, at a very young age, which is really key, because when you start at a young age in um exposing yourself with the type of information that you were exposed and type of experiences that you expose yourself, your brain works and absorbs so much faster than if you started something like this at, let's say, at the age of 40, right? Because your brain is reluctant to add new information, or you have predestined mindset, like, oh, this is never going to happen for me, I'm too old for this. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you could not have summarized it better.
Hmm.
So other than business advice, that was about a year ago, and that went like really really well because
Yeah.
I was always so results driven. I was opposite of what most people did, like just have a few testimonials and build
Hmm.
entire business around that.
Yeah.
I was like every person that didn't get results, like I was like completely blaming myself for that in the beginning, especially because I needed to be the best in helping those people because those people put
Yeah.
all their trust in me. I made a promise, and if I couldn't deliver, I felt like that was always me, whether I didn't screen
Hmm.
enough, whether I didn't have the right systems, whether I didn't have the right mindset. So I kept evolving my own game and also realizing that 95% of people will never make any money because they don't have the
Yeah.
right systems.
Mm-hmm.
95% of the programs aren't that good, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but most people don't know what they're talking about. And you
Yes.
really have to filter through and look at what works. And once you find that one person, you want to embrace that person and be like, I want to learn everything about you and everything how you can help me. So I've been very
Exactly.
fortunate that I had like a few of those people, even though I wasted so much money on like bad courses, bad trainers,
Mm-hmm.
bad coaches. But and I'm now at a really good place where I'm like constantly full with clients.
Yeah.
All my clients, well, most of my clients are getting like really, really good results. They
That's
they overachieve. They always get their goals. Unless I'm at a point where about 10 to 15% of the people just don't get results, and everybody else like hits their goals.
yeah.
And that's not because they're not able to do it, but that's because they are like what I now sometimes get is that people intuitively know that this is going to work. Logically, they know that it's going to work,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have to face themselves, and
Yeah.
whether that's fear or whatever it is. And then sometimes they're not able to execute, even if it's just a schedule of 2.5 hours to 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
They just block and then they go back to a job, or they decide that this is not for them. And I take that really personal. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting less and less of them, screening better, making sure that I have more mindset in the beginning and then
Yeah.
really, but that was really surprising to me that I got the higher quality problem where people knew that it was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't want to continue, which is something they would have never told me in the beginning. Because most people are on this path of like failing,
Yeah.
and they tell themselves that they believe that they will make once that they want it, that they really want to make it work. But then once they really have the system and they have to execute, then suddenly they're out. And that's so weird to see.
No,
And I never
absolutely.
imagined something like that to happen.
Absolutely. And you're right, you've got to take the action. And a lot of the times when you are already working a full-time job, and a lot of times it's probably stressful, and those 3 hours a day, working on a side hustle is not easy because you've got to be really committed. You got to have your why defined to be able to get into that. So as a coach, um, studying psychology and personal development and applying that knowledge and bringing those business models up front and helping other coaches. So it seems like you're helping other businesses and other coaches in gaining the experience and gaining the clients that they're looking for to, keep their business going. So how, and you said you've got a few clients that are, or all of the clients are doing really well.
Yeah. I'm just getting so many leads that I can really nitpick the people that I work with.
Mm,
So that has been a giant shift in my business because, well, the word go like it's kind of like what Elon Musk keeps telling. Like, if you just have a really good product, like the word will spread. And I
yes.
didn't believe that in the beginning. Like, I was like, no, you need to have marketing. And the truth is, it's a combination, obviously. And now
Right.
I focus on mainly helping coaches, consultants, trainers, like literally go from either from nothing to at least 10K a month, or I help people who are kind of stuck at the 5 to 15K a month level and really
Mhm.
help them scale like to the 30, 40K a month, some even higher than that.
Wow.
And yeah, life has been really, really good to me. Even
That's
when
awesome.
I'm in Florida
Yeah.
and I've met anybody. I'm just like in this big house alone with a pool
yeah.
and I'm just living in, but I'm really grateful. I'm just using this time to like really study, becoming even better, having
hmm
a client. Um,
That's the other
yeah,
thing, right? The time that we're in currently, it's enabled us to either have a lot of time or no time, right? So people like for yourself, you're hanging out by yourself and you have two choices. Either you binge watch television and then at one point you might run out of television shows, but what's never going to run out is the ability to expand your own mind and learn the things that you've been wanting to learn. And when I say, some people are finding that they have no time, it's because they're spending more time with their families, with their kids at home, planning things out, and also having to perform a full time job working from home. Again, it is far and few between. There are a ton of people that have been unemployed, which is very sad. And it just shows that the systems that we have in place are, antiquated. And it's just a amazing thing to see happen in our lifetime. How technology has stepped up to, right, create these opportunities for people who really know how to use the system. And people that have been doing this for the past 5, 10 years, they're like, what are you talking about? Slow down in business. I'm doing better than ever.
Exactly. That's the truth. People who have systems that do really well. Like I'm doing the same because I just take on 10 clients a month. I'm now taking a little bit more because I have more time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, loneliness, like I'm kind of alone in a house. But
Yeah.
I do have like 5 to 7 client calls every single day. So I'm talking to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
So I'm also not that alone. It's just a physical touch. And that's missing. But furthermore, couldn't agree more with you. And the statistics are pretty scary if you think about
Yeah.
it.
It is.
40% of all Americans couldn't even afford to lose more than $400.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of them have now gone over the $400 without
A
making any
lot.
income?
A lot.
So many people.
Yeah.
If you look at the upside, what I always tell my clients is, look, we also were at the best time in the history of the world, like
Yeah.
ever financially, like 7 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So the 60% of those people probably has some money, or at least 30% of the 60%, and they're not sitting at home.
Yeah.
They're kind of waiting for your advice. They're waiting for your help. They now have extra
Mm-hmm.
time. They now have finally time to execute on things they wanted to, and
Yeah.
they know that they want to get stronger out of this economy.
Yes.
Like the people that, yeah, they can go inward or they can double down on their business or things like that. But
Yeah.
people are waiting for you. People need you right now.
Absolutely. You just have to show up and teach people what you already know, because ton of people, they have years and years of experience in the industry that they've been working on, and they could teach that information to others who might be interested.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
And the truth is, like, you also have to realize, oh, you're not that safe. Like, I mean, so many people, they keep telling everybody, like, hey, get a job. Like, just the whole mainstream condition, like, hey,
Yes.
go to school, follow the school system for like 25 years to 30 years of your life, then get a job. And what happens? Every 5 to 10 years, a crisis happens. And then
Yes.
God knows how many people are laid off.
Yeah.
And it seems to be very consistent. Every 5 to 10 years on average, a crisis just happens. And
Yes.
so many people are laid off. And like, it's crazy to me how you can put all your eggs in one basket on one boss and then praying
Exactly.
that nothing will happen.
Yeah.
And there's so little, that there's so few really, really good companies that are actually thriving in recessions, or that have a good leader, or a company
Exactly.
that actually has some excess cash flow so they can keep paying their employees.
Yes.
So many people are just laid off. They don't have money. They're now stuck. And they're like, okay, what's next? Okay, I need to reinvent myself again.
Yeah.
What do I need to do? And then they do something completely different that they spent the last 25 years
Yeah.
learning about.
It's so true. And what really sucks is for the folks that are working in the front line or working in the service industry, right? So that the other just came out of college, the other just came out of school, and they are, doing the food industry, the service industry. They're doing a, per hour job, and if they can find a secondary or a secondary or a third way income stream to offset that main, like 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 you mentioned earlier, don't put all your eggs in the same basket. And that's what people have done, um for at least a century, for the past 50 years, or actually not even, can't even say 50 years anymore, because 50 years from now was just 1980. For the Do I have my numbers wrong? 1970s. So, since the 1920s, 1950s, people have been stuck in the same cycle of, okay, you go to college, you get a job, and then you're set. You're going to be rich. Like, not really. You have to have a mindset to be able to have multiple sources of income. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that sharing the mindset, sharing what you have been doing with your clients, and how helping them gain um, confidence and clarity, and be able to, you know, launch their own businesses and be more, have that freedom to be able to work on their own terms.
It's a crazy world. Common sense is not common. Like if common sense were to be common, then why is the news not blasting out like, "Hey, fix your immune system. Now's the time to
Yes.
get healthier."
Hmm.
And like strengthen it, you know. Stop
Yes.
being stuck in the house and not working on yourself.
Yes.
It's a time of going inwards. And why is it that way? Like wake up basically. Why do you even need a media platform to filter the information from the source for you? Why can you not just
Yes.
go to the source directly? Why
Yeah.
do you need some person that doesn't, you don't even know if the person has the best interest at mind? Why do you need
Hmm.
that person? Go to the
Yes.
source directly and make your own conclusions. You're grown up, you know. You
Exactly.
don't need the person in between telling you what is happening.
Yep. We are used to, consuming information that's fed to us. Again, like you mentioned, to going to a source to collect information takes effort, and human beings are lazy people. I'm lazy, right? If I can find an easy way to do something, I'm gonna totally do that. But again, it takes that mindset of being able to jump in and, okay, make that decision. Really good points. Thank you, Colin. All right. At this point of the conversation, we have some questions that we ask our guests on the Hacks and Hobbies podcast. So, are you ready?
Sure. Let's go.
Awesome. So these questions are going to be short. They can have longer answers, then we can, go into some type of conversation. But let's see where we go. What is your one hobby? What is one hobby that you wish you got into?
One hobby I wish I got into, I wish that I could have gone into memory training when I was like 5 or 6 years old, maybe even earlier. Like, you know, those memory champions who can I'm going to be taught by the world memory champion of 2016, 2017, and
Mm-hmm.
2018. And he can remember a pack of cards in 14 seconds. So whatever you do with a pack of cards, so 50 to
Yeah.
playing cards, whatever you do with it, he can remember it 3 cards per second, even a little bit
Wow.
more. Within 14 seconds, you can remember the cards from the front to the back, from the back to the front, any sequence you
Wow.
want. And that's just like a trick. Like he can, like the things that this guy can do is
Mm-hmm.
insane. And I wish that if I had somebody, well, we probably didn't even have the information back then, or
Yeah.
not as easily available. But
Yeah.
if I could have gotten some of those memory tricks, like the memory palace, or translating numbers into an alphabet sequence or whatever it is,
Yeah.
life would have been so much easier, because remembering apparently is a lot easier than we make it. Like rote learning, like just saying words over and over again, isn't the most
Mm.
effective way. So
It
if I
is
could have
not.
gotten into that earlier, that would have probably saved me so much time.
Yeah. No, that is a really awesome hobby, memory championship. There was a book that I read earlier last year, which talked about how this person, went into becoming, learning about memory championship, and he was like, "What? There's a championship around memory? That is insane." So I think it's called Mind Hacking or something. I can't remember the name of the book, unfortunately, but he talks about how he was able to, within 1 year, become a memory champ for the US, because he, worked with some of the champions um, in the world that were, memory champions, and how easy it is to, go do those exercises, because it all comes down to exercising. Just like if you want bulk your arms, if you want bulk your chest, or have a better breathing technique, you got to exercise your muscles. So just like that, you got to exercise your mind and your brain to retain the information. Awesome.
Yeah, and also speed reading, by the way. Apparently you can speed read and you can literally retain everything better, but you can read through everything like, I
I
don't know how
know.
much faster.
I've purchased a
Imagine
few
you had that.
courses. Yeah, I purchased a few courses on speed reading, And I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do
Well, it's
this.
super difficult.
It is so difficult because, again, what's the key word in there? You got to put in the time, you got to put in the exercises in, and that's the hard part. So I have access to some courses, called Super Learning, and this man, he's even got some podcasts around super learning, and it's really powerful stuff that, I was listening to the podcast, and he talks about how easy it is to read fast, because because our eyes can capture so much information. We just have to direct them in the right place and be able to retain that information. All right. Next question. What did you want to be when you were a child?
I keep asking myself that question. I never had a good answer, even when I was a child.
Yeah.
I think something with sports. I think my answer would have been something with sports, or like a
Hmm.
fireman, or something like that, or maybe like a military character or whatever it is.
Hmm.
But it always kept changing. I didn't have that one thing. I never had that one thing. Even when I was younger and somebody asked me, what do you want to be?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have no clue. I make something up, just write something in. And then I always made something up. And it's, yeah, I maybe always intuitively knew that there might be something better. Or maybe I was
Hmm.
just unable to, between the lines, see what I could do. But
Yeah.
once the lines were gone, I could clearly see what I wanted to do.
No,
So yeah, I didn't know.
that's really cool. I think I wanted to be a pilot as long as I can remember, that I wanted to fly planes. But where I pivoted and what I wanted to be changed over time, of course. But that's cool. I think a lot of it might be influenced with, what you were doing as a child, where you were. And so maybe if you were to look into that, what did your parents do? If you have any siblings, and, what type of upbringing you had, what type of mentors you had, that could go a long way into figuring out, hey, why do I have, why don't I remember what I wanted to be when I was a child? At least I have that issue. Like, I have really bad memory about my childhood. All right. Next question. What is your favorite movie or TV show? And if none, how about a book?
Favorite movie would be, well, there will be a few, but the one that springs to mind is Lone Survivor
Hmm.
with Marcus Luttrell. Oh, well, that's the guy who survived.
Hmm.
And it's just a military movie based on a real life story.
Yeah.
And it just gives perspective to life. You can clearly see, even though it's a movie, how other people live,
Yeah.
how there are people that we don't even know now out there fighting for us,
Wow.
making the world a better place, doing the
Hmm.
dirty work for us, that we can even just stay inside in the corona pandemic without
Yeah.
having to worry about anybody invading our country. It gives some perspective, and then that almost everybody dies in that movie.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine losing friends like on a regular basis.
Hmm.
It must be so tough, and
Yeah, I bet.
just that perspective, it helped me.
Nice. Nice. That I'll have to check it out. I don't think I've seen that, The Lone Survivor. All right, next question. What movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
That's a good one. Huh. I would play. Well, then I would probably. Can I choose like an anime or like a
Of
cartoon
course, you can
movie or
choose
something
any
like that?
movie. Yeah, it doesn't have. Yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah, then I probably would choose something like Dragon Ball Z, or like something with a crazy overpowered character. And then just, if I could be that person, well, if you can choose anything, I would be that
Yeah.
crazy person, or Superman, or some crazy overpowered being. Like, just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that seems pretty awesome.
Nice. I like it. So, on that vein, who is your favorite superhero?
I never had one. I
Mm.
always was like, why don't I have a favorite superhero? And everybody had a favorite superhero, but the truth is, I always saw the weaknesses in them. I always felt
Hmm.
like they were either kind of stupid, or they were like overpowered, or that they were thinking too much of themselves.
Yeah.
If I were to choose one, it would probably be either Aquaman or Iron
Mm.
Man, just
Oh,
because I like those people, the charisma that they
the
have, the way
characters.
they
Yeah.
yeah, just the way they behave. Like that,
Yeah.
that is more intriguing than the powers that they have.
No, my favorite one is Iron Man as well. I just love his arc, his story, and how he was brought up, and it's just really powerful to see how you can bring up a character and build so much depth into him. Awesome, cool, man. Next question, and the last one is: if you were a board game, what would it be?
What is a board game?
Curveball for you there.
What was a board game? What would it be? It would definitely be Monopoly, 100%.
Nice. That's a very popular game. I have yet to compile a list of all my guests and what board game they'd be. I think that'd be a really fun one to see. And put all the people who love Monopoly in the same boat and see the character character parallelism. Cool, man. So Colin, where can my audience find you?
You can either go to my website. I think the link will probably just be below them.
Yep.
BeyondSocialConditioning.com. Just
Awesome.
BeyondSocialConditioning.com. There's a free training on how to start your consulting business on there. Coaching, consulting, trainers, like how to approach it in a way where it's genuine.
Yeah.
Well, everything is predictable.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm now full clients, I kind of gave the training away, which is probably worth quite a bit of money. So if you want to have a training that works, it takes about 25 minutes to watch, to at least have an idea about in what direction to think about, what different methods are out there that are working in 2020, even in pandemics. I recommend just checking that out. And otherwise, just send me a message on Facebook or LinkedIn and I'll help you out for free. I'll do the best I can with what I have. And yeah, something like that. I would recommend just check out the training because you probably won't be disappointed.
Fantastic, man. Thank you so much. This was an awesome conversation. So today our guest was Colin Dingelstad. He is a founder of BeyondSocialConditioning.com. He's the head mindset coach, and he's been helping struggling coaches get quality clients for some time now. Thank you so much for your time, Colin. Appreciate you coming on to the podcast and sharing your journey with us, and as well as talking about some of the hobbies that you wish you got into, the games that you play, movies that you like, and what inspired you to, be here with us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Have a great day.
You too.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the episode. Thanks so much for listening to our guest on this episode. Please send me an email at junaid@hacksandhobbies.com to tell me what you loved about our guest today. You could find links mentioned in this episode on the hacksandhobbies.com website.